Hello guys, welcome to the first tutorials of UD245 programming of VBA towards UD engineering and a lot of stuff. Okay, so let's cut to the cases. In this lecture, we'll discuss about the data type, objects, and class module of VBA. So as I assume a lot of you guys have already have a decent understanding of these topics, I will just include all the data, all the different data types here in this file, which I will upload it to Canvas later. And in this lecture, we'll get you through like what is functions of those data, how we use it, and what are the something to mind when we try to use those. Okay, so shall we begin? This is the file that we'll be working on in the next couple of days. You can see the data types in VBA is generally three different categories: the numeric, non-numeric, and these two I want to specify it as like special data types. Okay, so the numeric data type, which I think a lot of you are already familiar with, is the one that it has the value as like a numeric value, such as integer, long, single, double, which is these two are the numbers with decimals. The differences between long and integer is that long has the wider range. You can see it is very big. It is actually 2 billion, but here is only 30,000. So the double and single has the similar things. So double have a wider range, and single is a lower range. But in here, the range is means by precision. So double is more accurate. So you can handle more of the. So you can see there's a lot of this stuff. Yeah, the range is big. So long way short, if appeals to you that sometimes when you do the programming, some things spell, you should try to look around to the range of your variables. If that's is like too short or too small, you should consider to change it to another like data types that has like wider range. Okay, the non-numeric data string, which is like hello VBA, hello world, those stuff, and you can use different characters, ASL, and different functions towards it. And the boolean is the logical value. It will return true or false. So actually in code, it's actually can be considered as 1 and 0 as basic nature of the programming language. Date, which is specifically for VBA, this is a data type that is thoroughly designed. In Excel, if you guys know, you can actually do something like this. And if you click it, you can see, although I'm typing 8.00, it actually has something like this. So this is date. This is especially for Excel. So that in another way, point out that VBA has a strong relations to Excel again. Okay, so other than that, the object, which will we have like deeper discussions through this lecture. I will leave it for now, but you must be familiar with it. You have range, you have shapes, you have different cells and values. You have different cells and worksheets. You have been manipulated during the courses, and variant and const. So these two are special because variant is unlimited. So it can be anything. It can be anything you want. The VBA itself will automatically correct it for you. And const is good for, in some cases, we'll show it. It will help you to simplify your programming design. Okay, so let's take a look into the code. I will put the code for each lecture in different module. this will be uploaded to Canvas and updated. Ideally, I will have I think it's 5 tutorials, right? So five sheets that has all the contents here. So it's good for you to uh, it's easy for you to track them, to review them. Yeah. Okay. So I'll close this for now. So you have better. So in the first step, I already wrote something. So it's just very simple. So you deem a variables. You deem variables as a certain type. So have you wondered why you have to use deem? This is because you wrote this as we always suggest to do. Because in if you don't write this, you will and you can actually have something. If you don't have that, we can say debug a equals to 5, but print a, and that's totally fine. Because without that, you can actually everything in VBA can be considered as a variant. You don't have to dim it. You don't have to let the program know what it is in the first place, but it will do its job. So you may say, okay, that sounds very good. So why do I need that? This is because if you have a longer name and in the future you want to use that and you can like just you might have a typo or something, but in these scenarios you can see it doesn't say any wrong. This is because the VBA also think this, although it's wrong and not defined, also think that as a variant. So by using this code, it helps you to have this habit to have everything noted. So in these cases, you have to deem whatever it is as whatever it is, right? And you can I hate that. I hate myself. Okay, you have to do that. And now if you try to run it again, it will tell you, okay, you have now defined this variable. It's good for you to review your code to find where does it went wrong. Okay. So I would suggest you to have that at the beginning of your procedure everywhere. Okay. So all of those are pretty easy. After we now let the computer know what it is, you have different types. We can say we can give it a number. So we have different range. So let's say if the byte is now the range is 0 to 255, what if it's 256? It's overflow, right? So it's out of its range. Sometimes you guys will have these problems, and the simple way to do that, sometimes is to change a different type if that it doesn't mess with your like program, right? So yeah, overflow indicates that is out of its range. Everything here is pretty straightforward. This you might not need this, so I just put it right here as cases, but it's not actually something you will meet in exams or in the project. No. So you can see you have all values here, right? It's pretty straightforward. And for int and long, you can see int. What if it is this? It's overflow, right? But you can see if it debug, you can see what it is. So debug is really easy in VBA, and you can always change it to long. But you may wonder, so why are we using long? Like, if long has a wider range, why are we using integer in the first place? This is because when you're using long, it actually takes a lot of memories, storage in your computers. That in a big size, a big scale project, it might confess it might mess up with your like product flow. It will be so laggy, and in most of the cases, an int is good enough. Okay, let's see a cases for variant. Okay, okay. So you can dim it as a variant, or you can just simply do that. It does the same thing. If you don't dim it, it will automatically say it has a variant. So let's try it, and you can make it whatever you want. And let's say now it has a double, right? And if I lower that, it's double. This is because variant want to use it to storage more in case like that. So anyways, it will give it a different type, right? So if I give it a string, it will be a string. Okay, this is variant, and if you do that, it's the same thing. So sometimes you may wonder, like, why, if the variant and is so smart to know, okay, what that is, why aren't we using a variant in the first place? So instead of doing those stuff, can we just say a var bh whatever it wants? I mean, you can, but in the this is only like a really small examples. But in the future, if you want to deal with a large program, sometimes you have to let the computer know the what variables has different types. That will help you to manage your project and to know what went wrong. But here's something I want to specify. If I do this, oh wait, let's say var I as integer, would it be a var is variant, I is integer, or they're both integers? Let's try. So if they are both integer, and so if a var is integer by these sentences, it won't give us this. It will give us a wrong. No, that means if you do something that's in the dim, if you connect it by comma, and you don't have something like this, we automatically recognize it as a variant, which it can be changing over time. That is the biggest flaw of the variant, right? So you won't make it like, so I want this to be string all the time, but you dim it as a variant. So maybe in the future you kind of mess up with it. You make it like 5 or 6, it will be automatically become a integer. That will be so confusing. Okay. So this is variant. This is another thing is const. So const is what you can customize your own variables. It is like a small class module. So in here, you can see this is just a constant values as a double. This is help to simplify your coding, your code. And since we're having this, is also I include a lot of operators here. I basically, this is a summary of all the operators you may need. You can go through them, try to understand them, and you'll be know them like through these courses. I'm sure a lot of you already did. Yeah, so I won't spend a lot of times on this. Okay, so here's some quick questions. We did a lot of variables, but are they, so we have like right here, okay, can we use it in another sub? No, because all of these variables are local variables. It only appears when the sub is operating. let's say here in the local box, you can see all of those things have values, have different type, right? But without that, if you want to use another sub to call those variables, can you? It's not defined. So it is only defined within this sub. But there's also a variables called global variables that it can be used through all of your sub within the same module or different is filled. Okay. So again, let's say a as integer, and now if I run this again, it's okay, right? So it's already have defined here, so you don't have to define it again. This is showing that when you have something that some variables that you want to use throughout your whole process flow, you may want to try to put it as a global variables. And whenever you want to use them, you can just give its value here. You may say, okay, can I put it here? Like, can I do that? Can I do that? Let's try. No, it's outside the procedure. So this kind of syntax can be only used inside of the procedure, but not outside. However, if we're using a const, let's say, I'll just copy this. Now, if I want to do that, it's correct. This is because this is simply just a value. And by doing that, it becomes a global variables, global constant that can be used in every sub, every function within this module. And also do that. Right? And also do that. Okay, so I think now everyone has a decent understanding of the basic data types of VBA. We can take a deeper look through the objects. So all of those things are pretty straightforward. It's just a different type. Like you have a fruit, you have a basketball, like basketball belongs to ball. So it's pretty straightforward. It's only one thing, but object is kind of like a combination of all of those things. It has its properties, it has its functions, it has its different kind of things to do. If you want to check VBA and Python, if you know Python or like other programming language, things like that, including C++, C#, they are all towards object, face to object programming language. So that means you have different objects. Inside those objects, it has its own properties, attributes. If you want to check all of the objects in VBA, you can go to the object browser or app2. Yeah, I'll just click it here. Okay. You see, this is all the objects that are within the Excel. These things can all be used in your program. It's just the matter of how. You can find all of the stuff here. This is all the things you can use, but in this course, we won't use those as you may thought we will